Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. Tonight, as always, we are recapping the week's nerdy news from Westview to Rivendell and everywhere in between. My name is Mike Gibson. With me, as always, Steve Haller. What's up, Steve? And happy birthday, my friend.
Why, thank you, Mike. Why, thank you. I appreciate the wonderful set you guys threw together last night on my impromptu show up at an action show and call it my birthday party situation.
Yeah. Hey, it worked out.
Oh, it worked out great. Great set,
Yeah.
Great weather, great time, great people. Can't beat it.
Well, thank you. It's all for you, bud.
You know what I was going to say before the podcast?
What's that?
Recently, on top of the action, with an exclamation point, I have also been listening to what has become my new favorite modern band.
I can't wait to hear
You know how
this
this often goes through cycles very rapidly, but
Sure, yeah.
also possibly the best name for a band in modern history, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I've been on a huge Giz kick lately.
Giz kick.
Yes.
I have heard of them, but I don't know that I've ever heard anything by them. Maybe I have, but I know that name for sure, because how can you forget that name?
Right. You may not have. Started very metal influenced, kind of went proggy and into jam territory-ish. Like they're kind of jam adjacent. So it's a very weird mix.
I feel like I've heard their name lumped in with jam bands before. So
yeah. So their studio stuff goes hard studio cuts of things, and then live they tend to jam a little. So if you listen to any of their recorded music, you're not. It's not really jam influenced, and then live they just change it.
And yeah, and they've been around for a while, correct? They're not like
newish.
Got like a
probably
catalog,
like
so.
yeah.
Newish?
Well, the thing is, they've been putting out like an album or two a year. It's been very strange, like how
they have
rapidly...
a large back catalog, despite them not being 20 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
I love
in Melbourne.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not that old. I love when you discover a new band that has been around a long time.
Yeah.
And you're like, you fall in love with them, and you immediately have like, oh my God, I have this entire catalog to dive through and like compare and see how they went from this to this or whatever. Like, it's so great. It's so great. That happened to me years ago with I got really into Tegan and Sarah after hearing like one of their they put out a new album, and I was like, I really like this. And I was like, oh wait, they have like 8 other records I can listen to. Great. I am in.
So they've been around since 2010, and they have 26 albums out.
Are they all studio albums?
For the most part. There is one album of very weird remixes, which is great. But
that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, they're just putting product out, man.
Wow. Yeah. My band's been around for 25 years, and I think we have 6 full-length albums.
Well, since you named your 5th 5, I think, yeah. You put out one.
And the
since
new
then.
one's only the new one's only 7 songs, so you could argue that that's an EP, also. So you could argue we only have
on the
5
edge of
full-lengths.
EP.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow. Well,
so this is the Multiverse Report. We've gone into the multiverse of music now.
Yeah. And we're comfortable taking this time up top because pretty desolate out there as far as news goes for nerdy comic book adjacent things.
Yeah. So late.
So
in fact, we will be doing a primer for the fall TV and movie season.
That's right.
Which is weirdly as light as the rundown.
Also pretty light, especially well, I mean, I didn't write down all the movies and all the films that are coming out in the next couple months, but the ones that are
fandom adjacent,
fandom adjacent genre movies, relevant to our listeners, I would say, and to us. But we do have a couple, again, light stories before we get to the fall movie and television preview. First one, similar to last week when we talked about Beyond the Spider-Verse reportedly being delayed, but then not being delayed. A delay that was debunked. That happened again recently. As of yesterday, people were reporting that the Rey movie in the land of Star Wars, the new Jedi Order film, had been delayed. And that is not true. That report apparently was based on a different report saying that the next Star Wars movie we're going to see in theaters is The Mandalorian and Grogu. That is a true fact. That has been a true
Didn't we
fact
know
for a
that
long
before?
time. Somebody who didn't know that, someone who, needless to say, doesn't listen to the Multiverse Report, heard that and said, "Oh, that must mean that the Rey movie is being delayed." Thinking, I guess they had assumed that the a new Jedi Order movie would be the next one. They're wrong. It's going to be Mando and Grogu. They said that when they announced Mandalorian and Grogu. I think they announced
that it was going to be coming ahead. Yeah,
the next one. So, if you saw a headline saying that new Jedi Order movie or the Rey movie has been delayed, fear not, for it has not been delayed. Everything is still moving along. They got a director, they got a writer. They're still all keeping their jobs. I would love some news on really any Star Wars movie project, even if it's Mandalorian and Grogu. And we have gotten, like, we know Sigourney Weaver is going to be in that movie, so we've gotten some casting or whatever. But like, I guess it's because I'm I'm excited about Mandalorian and Grogu, but I'm less excited about that than I am about, the new Jedi Order or the Dawn of the Jedi film, like those two other things that they have announced. I want casting information on those, or I want script. The script has been handed in, news, things like that, because Lucasfilm has canceled so many things or put so many things on the back burner that I just want, similar to how I felt. I felt that kind of relief when James Gunn took over DC, because he was giving updates and saying we're not going to move forward until there's a script, giving some clarity. I want someone to give some clarity around these Lucasfilm projects, just so I can know that they're still happening, so I can feel at ease. These things that you told me you were going to do, you're actually going to do them this time. So I really would love an actual update on Rey's next adventure. Will we get one? Who knows? I'm sure we will, but when will we get one? I don't know.
Well,
I hope it's sooner than later.
That's one of those where you and I are both very excited about this movie. And I think, it's one of those where as long as they put a good script on it and, pull it off in good faith, I think they're going to be in a good spot with it. Especially, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you would probably, Rogue One and Andor notwithstanding, I'm really enjoying when they're just taking novel twists at this thing and going in directions that we haven't seen before. Like, I don't know, even so much as, yes, it was technically a follow-up and a reboot, but like, Solo recast a lot of our main characters and put a new spin on what was going on. So even from that standpoint, it's not rote, all right, this is the big three doing their thing. Like, give me something novel, give me something new. Mando season 1 and 2. Acolyte. Any of that sort of stuff. Like, we got a big world. Let's fill it out.
Yeah. And like you said, I'm fine with them taking their time. I just want, like, send me a flare to let me know.
Right. Yeah. I need some smoke signals coming up. Like, let me know everything's fine.
Yes. And to your point, I hope that it is a bit of a different direction. Like, I love something like The Acolyte.
Yeah.
Because it was all new characters, all new stuff. I had no idea, no inkling of what was going to happen or could happen because of where it was set, the time period that it was set in. Acolyte being the furthest back canon thing that we have so far. But the new Jedi Order movie will be the furthest forward in the timeline. So that is going to be similar in that we can't predict anything because it is so far in the future, removed from everything that we've seen before. But it's going to be like half and half, because it's going to be at least one character that we are familiar with moving into a new moving in a new direction and seeing new things instead of characters we've never met before doing all new stuff. At least we'll have some kind of anchor with Daisy Ridley, and who knows if Oscar Isaac's going to come back or
John Boyega.
John Boyega. Yeah.
But yeah,
it'd be great. I hope they do.
It keeps the expectations, like 7, 8, and 9 were doomed to fail from the beginning because people already had in their head what was going to happen.
Partly, I could say partly.
Yeah, let
yes.
me rephrase that. Not, immediately doomed to failure, but like there was a lot of hurdles to overcome because of what people had built up as this is what happens after. And inherently, that's why The Last Jedi is what it is, because people had a lot of opinions on what Luke should do.
Yeah. And that's what I say this to the day I die. Star Wars is generational, and it's about expectations. And we have different attachments to different characters, and we all have our headcanons. And when that headcanon is interrupted by actual canon, sometimes it rubs us the wrong way. And that's how you get toxic man-baby Star Wars fans who won't shut up about Ki-Adi-Mundi's age and bullshit like that.
Hey, no. There will be no Ki-Adi-Mundi slander on this podcast. No,
I'm not slandering Ki-Adi-Mundi. He can be as old or as young as he wants. I don't care how old that guy is. Or was, because he's
actually dead. In that vein, there was the Wampa's Lair, a Star Wars podcast that I've listened to on and off over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Good friend of mine's buddy and his co-host do it, but
cool.
They had a good episode a couple weeks ago about canon and like what that means and why all the varying points of canon over the course and everything back from sometimes they tend to put a religious slant on it, and they were talking about how it related somewhat to like church canon, and that it's kind of the same thing of how you take the pieces, like canon becomes the pieces of what was or what people accepted, and that's where we're at now. Like, this is what's canon, so live with it.
Yep. Nothing we can do about it.
Yep.
Nothing we can do about it. Something else that we can't do anything about, although I'm fine with it, is a new season of Sandman. Sandman season 2 is coming out. Not dated yet. Not dated. I think they're still working on it. But Netflix did drop an over 3-minute video, like a bit of a behind-the-scenes look at Sandman season 2. Interviews with a couple members of the cast, showrunners, directors. So there are a lot of returning characters. Dream, Death, some of the other members of the Endless, but we did get new looks at other members of the Endless and also their versions of Thor, Loki, and Odin, who play a pretty big role in the story that they'll be telling for season 2. If you're the reader of the comic, then you know. And I'm excited about this just because this is DC's version of Thor, Loki, and Odin. I feel like in 2024, it's hard to hear those names without thinking of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in some way. But Marvel doesn't own those characters. These are Norse gods that are public domain. And so, yes, they exist in the DC universe as well. And in, just Norse mythology universes at the same time. So, Steve, how are we feeling about Sandman season 2?
Are we divorcing the art from the artist?
Yeah, that is what I was going to bring up if you didn't bring it up. Because that's something we never got to talk about. That I think that happened at a time.
It happened right after we saw him.
Right after we went to see him
2 weeks
live.
After we saw him live. And
but I think it was like a week where we had to skip a week, or Matt subbed for me or something, and we never really got to talk about it. But Neil Gaiman, much beloved author of Sandman comic books and American Gods, and
there's a lot of his work back there.
Coraline, so much great stuff, some great Batman stories and whatever. Credibly accused by multiple women of sexual assault, which is a huge bummer. So that is why I asked you what you thought of Sandman season 2. Are we watching this with the ability to separate the art from the artist, or are you watching this with a little bit of a guilty conscience? How are you handling Sandman season 2 here?
You're talking to someone who has a son obsessed with Harry Potter right now. So at present, I'm well into the weeds on the separating the art from the artist because, J.K. Rowling can go pound salt too. But it's so tough to do, but also like we're talking seminal works of art that we have loved for all these years.
Yeah.
And just because the guy who wrote them is a giant ass, I don't know if that can change what those books made me feel.
Right.
Or how I enjoyed that story. Like, am I proud now that I have a signed Neil Gaiman Sandman Season 2 anthology? Slightly less so. But I don't know. It's an ever-present question nowadays where, we have a lot of this instantaneous information that stuff like this is happening. Where it really is something you have to wrestle with, of because the person who made this is not who for years we thought he was.
Right.
And, again, as Mike said, it seems at this point that these are credible allegations. That, I don't know. Thoughts?
I don't know either. It's tough. Like, I own all the Sandman books already. I'm not going to throw them away. I haven't read all of them. I may still continue to read them because here's my issue is, like, I feel like if you find out an artist that you like is a creep or a criminal or a sexual assaulter, I certainly wouldn't want to give that person any more of my money. Like, if I didn't already own all the Sandman books, I don't think I would buy.
Right. Am I going out to buy a new collected edition, deluxe, whatever?
Yeah,
no.
Exactly. I don't think I'm going to be doing that anytime soon. And I feel like I'm a little less excited about Sandman Season 2 because of these allegations.
Right. And this is after we sang the praises of Sandman Season 1.
Yes, absolutely. And I watched this first look. It looked really good. And there's practical sets all over the place. And I still love that they're doing so much practical stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I know, you brought up Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling. I feel like there's a lot of people who grew up with Harry Potter are going to find themselves in that same situation.
Yeah.
When that Warner Brothers HBO TV series goes finally, So I don't know. I mean, it's a different situation, like being accused of sexual assault and just being a loudmouth anti-trans person. Different things to be accused of for sure. So I don't know. It's tough. I would like to be able to watch Sandman Season 2, but I don't know if I don't know if I will, to be honest with you. I don't know.
I feel like it's going to be a game time decision.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'll know until it comes out what I'm going to do.
Right. What I'm definitely not doing is finishing the Audible series where he narrated it, where Neil Gaiman narrated it, and you could hear his voice constantly. I feel like if I went back to finish that, I would just be like, the guy I'm listening to right now is has been accused of sexual assault, and that would not sit right with me. Yeah.
Well, that's similar. Like, at that same signing, I bought a copy of Good Omens because I had heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah.
Am I going to go back and, give him my streaming sense after I finish the book? Like, I don't know. We'll find out. But it's definitely something that you have to wrestle with nowadays.
Yeah, it is tough. And you can't really demonize other people for choosing to watch it or not. There's tons of people I'm sure that don't know about the Neil Gaiman thing. People that are listening to this right now may not have known, may not have heard those stories that went down. But I don't know. I mean, watch it if you're comfortable watching it. If you're not, then that's fine too. That's fine too. To each their own in this situation, I think.
Absolutely.
But that said, like I said, it did look cool. It looked good. And that Tom, whatever his face is, I don't remember his last name, but man, is he just perfectly cast as that character. I know we talked about it the first time, but I don't think you could find someone that looks more like Morpheus from Sandman than that guy. All right. On to something much lighter and also much, I don't know, lighter. Did I say lighter twice?
Yes. It's kind of like your bandmate rhyming cool with cool the other night.
That's true. I mean, lighter as in subject matter, but also lighter in just this doesn't even really matter.
No.
At all. Yeah. Um, the old Hollywood Walk of Fame is in the news again. I feel like I used to never hear anything about people getting stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I feel like now every week they're announcing new people that are getting stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, or there's like video clips from a new ceremony. Like, how often are they doing this? Like,
like our
can you just
sidewalks
do it like once a year? I feel like they're doing it like once a month.
Yeah, our sidewalks like full from there all the way down to like Anaheim.
Yeah.
At this point,
How much sidewalk space do you have in Hollywood, California? Come on, I've never been there, so I don't really know, but come on. Anyway, somebody you may have heard of getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame this week on September 26th, the one and only Batman will become the first superhero to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So I read that and thought, for a superhero, is he the first fictional character? He can't be the first fictional character. And he was not. The first fictional character to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame was Mickey Mouse in 1978. He was followed in the mid 80s by Bugs Bunny and Snow White, Pee Wee Herman, and much more, many more. I think The Simpsons have them, and all kinds of or all kinds of fictional characters. But Batman is the first superhero to star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Steve, do you care about this at all?
Tell you the truth, no.
No.
My question is who paid for Batman to have that star? Because apparently,
I mean,
one thing that boggled my mind for years, I thought it was like an honor and whatnot.
No, it's
apparently
not.
You have to you have to front the money to get your star on the. They'll say you can do it, but then you've got to pay them money to do it.
You've got a good agent and you've got the money to get it done. Yes, that's how you get a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. Doesn't matter how famous you are. You got to pay for it. So
Pee-wee
my guess
one
is
and not Paul Rubens.
Well, you know what? I heard an insane fact about Paul Rubens as Pee Wee Herman. I was listening to a podcast talking about Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
And they were just talking about how it's, for someone who has never seen that movie or is not familiar with the character of Pee Wee Herman, it's almost impossible to explain why it was a thing, because he was just like an improv comedian at the Groundlings, and there was some kind of show where they had to come up with a new character, and he created Pee Wee Herman. It blew the doors off the place. It was super funny. And from that moment on, Paul Rubens did not make a public appearance as Pee Wee Herman until he was promoting Mystery Men in 1999. So like
a non-recorded appearance as
like if Paul Rubens was in a public setting where there were going to be cameras and microphones, he was dressed as Pee Wee Herman. Like like Pee Wee Herman, for all intents and purposes, was a real person for like 20 years. It was like from the early 80s until 1999. He only made public appearances as Pee Wee Herman.
Also, underrated, awesome movie, insane. Mystery Men.
I've never seen Mystery Men, and I keep hearing that it's worth watching. Yeah, I remember wanting to see it when it came out. But anyway, so Paul Rubens doesn't have one. Pee Wee Herman does, but Paul Rubens really lived public life as Pee Wee Herman for a really long time. So I think it makes sense that Pee Wee would have one as well.
I forgot he was in Blow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie probably since 2001 when it came out.
I saw it in college once, I think. I
don't
remember much about it whatsoever.
I think my buddy had it on DVD, and we watched it once, maybe twice, and that was it.
Nice.
$5 DVD bins at Walmart, man. Those things were the best.
A movie I've seen way more than twice, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Fair enough.
Also, the last one that he made when he was older for Netflix,
Big Holiday,
Pee-wee's Big Holiday.
Yeah.
I laugh from minute one till the credits roll of that movie. I just think that I've heard people say that they don't think it's as good. I don't know, man.
Still golden for you.
It's constant. I am constantly laughing throughout that movie, like crying, laughing. So sorry if it doesn't work for you, but man, it works for me.
Hey,
big
there you
time.
go.
Yeah. All right. So that's all the news.
That's everything.
That's all the news. A movie that you thought wasn't happening anymore is still happening. Neil Gaiman's a jerk, and Sandman season 2 is still happening, and Batman's getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Good night, everybody. That's literally all the news to talk about.
All the news fit to print.
Yeah.
Do
we are to fill some time?
Do we want to hit this now, or do we want to talk about Agatha now?
Oh, are you caught up on Agatha?
No, I saw the first episode. So
okay, yeah, we can talk Agatha. I'll try not to say anything that's in the second episode.
Oh, I think we saw at least 3/4 of the second episode.
Okay.
So we're
okay.
Yeah. If there's a big twist at the end of the second episode, I don't know it, but otherwise I'm probably there.
I don't believe that there's a big twist. There's a big song.
Oh, there you go.
To the song?
No.
Oh.
If really we did, good. I slept through it. The problem was it was last night when we watched it. So
yeah. So you had a big day.
I had come off of like 0 hours of sleep the night before because I had to coach an 8 a.m. soccer game. And then like going at it, like we were on the boat all day and then the show. And then we got home and we're like, let's put this on. And I watched the first episode, and about halfway through the second episode, I was like,
I'm not sure how conscious I am. Yeah.
I surprised myself by being awake. So
nice.
Yeah.
This past Wednesday is the 2-episode debut of Agatha All Along, a new Disney Plus Marvel Cinematic Universe series. So I guess if you don't want any spoilers for that, if you haven't watched it yet, skip ahead a little bit until we're done talking about it, I guess. Or should we say this till the end?
Let's do a quick spoiler-free, like general thoughts, and then we can hit something at the end.
Yeah, let's do spoiler-free. I had no desire for the show to exist.
Same.
It's not something that I wanted from the moment that they announced it. I was like, I don't care about this at all. I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. And I think it's not necessarily because I had low expectations, but it was just because I had no expectations, you know? Like I thought it was going to be a certain quality, and it certainly is. And Catherine Hahn is an incredible actor. So is Aubrey Plaza. I'm a big fan of her, and she has a big role in it too. So I didn't think it would be bad, but I just didn't care at all. But man, I really thought it was great, and I thought it was how they structure the first episode. It's kind of a reference to WandaVision a little bit. I like that a lot. It just kind of it reminded me how much I liked WandaVision. I think without being a clone of it or without being too referential or whatever, they certainly do remind you where this character came from and how you met her. But in a way that, you know, I feel like you could jump into this without having seen WandaVision, I think, and still think it was cool. I love the spooky vibes, all the witchy stuff I think is cool. There were a couple times when I felt like they were, you know, where I could really hear the writers being like, how do we squeeze a joke into this scene? Or how do we make this character pop a little bit, like pushing a little too far out of the realm of what people would be doing and saying in a situation like this. And you got to give a little flack to that because that's like all TV and all movies. But I felt it a little bit in a couple times with a certain character. So I like it way more than I expected. And there's a song in the episode too that I didn't realize was going to be what it was because they talk about it a lot, and then they ended up having to sing a song, and it was really good. Like a haunting,
nice
witchy melody. It was great.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to seeing that. I thought it was solid. I thought I echoed a lot of your sentiment where I did not expect anything out of it. And it was good, and I don't think it was, again, like you said, I don't think it was because I wasn't expecting anything. I think it was just decent. Like, is this the best thing they've put out? No. Is this the worst thing they've put out? No. It's just solid. It's solid.
But what it is besides being rooted in WandaVision, has very little to do with the rest of the MCU at all.
Yes, which is probably a plus.
Yeah, and I think I just had this thought, and I don't know if it's true. So I'm going to say it, and you tell me if it's true.
Okay.
Do the shows work better the less they are tied in to the MCU, but the movies work better when they have more connection to each other?
I think it's a function more of just make a damn good whatever.
Yeah.
And if in a TV series, when you have to fill up 8 hours plus of, film and that, to not have to make sure everything ties in beat by beat to a movie or to a giant multiverse,
Right.
maybe that's your better choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. I think it's probably easier. Yeah, because you have to sustain a story over 6 or 8 episodes or however, and keeping those connections tight over that amount of time can be tough.
Right.
So they're a little freer for sure when they're not hamstrung by what's going on in the movies. But like if the movie is a sequel to the movie that came before it, then you kind of have to reference it somehow. So I don't know. Maybe I'm right about that. Let us know. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I stupid? Am I all three of those things? Very possible. Could be all three of those things. Sorry, I just hit my microphone and it made a crazy noise.
There you go.
Not sure if you heard that or not. Yeah, Agatha's. I'm excited to continue watching on Wednesdays. Right? Is that Wednesdays?
I think so. No,
Something
I have
that
not
came
seen
out.
Penguin.
I was gonna say, it's not while we're talking non-spoilers for shows. Penguin first episode of the Penguin came out Thursday. However, the second episode is on right now, I believe. And it's going to be a Sunday release. It's got that like Sunday night HBO slot, which is
really
clearly pushing it.
Yeah, because the first one debuted on Thursday. So
yes, which I thought was strange, but like why put it on Thursday and then immediately move it to Sunday? But
was there something that was finishing last Sunday?
I don't know. Was House of the Dragon finishing?
A Prestige that was on last Sunday, maybe? I don't know. Might have been.
I don't know. The only one I know of is House of the Dragon, but I don't know how. I feel like that might have been over already. I don't remember.
August 8th or August 4th, it was over. So I guess, yeah. It's been a bit.
All right. I don't know. I thought the Penguin was great. I thought it was really good. They are clearly matching the visual style and tone of the Batman, which they should because it's set in that same universe.
Yeah.
They're clearly using the same sets. They have access to all that stuff because it looks a lot like the film. It does look more like TV. It's shot very cinematically, but it does look more like TV. And also it's not being filmed by Matt Reeves. So clearly it's going to have a different kind of frame to it. I just thought it was really good. It is setting up a season of Penguin being in positions where he is manipulating people, or he is kind of trying to think of an analogy. I don't know. He's playing both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
And
hedging
trying
his
to
bets and
pit other people against each other for their own benefits, and doing so, putting himself at risk. Kind of he's riding really right up to the line on his own safety in order to seize a little bit of power.
And I think you kind of grabbed that from the trailers as well. Like,
yeah, the trailers do a good job of setting it up, but the actual plot and his relationships with some of these characters that you meet, like you meet the son and daughter of Carmine Falcone, Sophia Falcone and Alberto Falcone, both characters from the comics.
Do you meet Carmine, the one and only?
You see Carmine.
You see Clancy.
Oh, no. You're talking about Maroni.
No, he's playing Maroni.
Yeah. Because Carmine was John Turturro,
right?
Who, spoiler alert for the Batman, dies at the end of the Batman. Mark Strong is playing Carmine Falcone in flashbacks in the show. I guess they couldn't. I read they couldn't get John Turturro because of scheduling or whatever.
Yeah.
But so Mark Strong, who's another great actor, is playing like, I think there was just like a shot of him on the news or whatever, and it looked kind of like him. I don't know if he's. I assume if you're getting somebody like Mark Strong, there's going to be some kind of flashback where he does more than just pose for a news footage reel, So, and yes, you do meet Salvatore Maroni. Penguin goes to visit him in Blackgate Prison. They have a really cool scene, and he is pretty He's pretty intense. Like he's not. I think the last time I saw, I'm blanking on the actor's name.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown was in Ahsoka when he was Ryder. You know,
very different feel from Ryder Azadi.
Very different feel for sure. More
Fair
menacing,
enough.
more I'll kill you without thinking twice kind of menace to him. It was really good. I liked it a lot, and there's a lot of setup, but it's setup of clear threads and relationships with characters that are going to evolve and eventually pay off in crazy ways. A few surprises in the show as well. So definitely check out Penguin if you haven't yet, I would say. And speaking of 2 television shows that have premiered this fall, although technically the last days of summer, because isn't today the first official day of first day of fall? Happy fall, everybody. We got a little fall movies TV preview for y'all, September through December, so fall and winter, really. If we have another light news week between now and December, we won't be able to do a winter movie TV preview because we will already done it tonight, shooting our shot tonight. So hopefully weeks fill up with some good news. So we got films and we got TV. Like I said earlier, it's not every movie and every television show that's coming out this fall, but just ones that may be relevant to your interests. In September, we got Megalopolis, which is the latest epic from Francis Ford Coppola.
And possibly the last. There were rumors he may
getting up
retire after, and he's also not a spring chicken.
Not any spring chicken.
We know he's not doing any Marvel movies.
That's for sure. There were also rumors that this movie that he made is really, really bad.
Really?
Really, really bad.
Even Adam Driver could not save this one?
Yeah, and it's a star-studded cast. The Adam Driver's the lead, but I think there's a ton of other people that were like, yes, I'll work with Francis Ford Coppola on what might be his last movie ever, of course. And, you know, I'll probably see it at some point because it's a new Francis Ford Coppola movie, and if you like film, then that's a big deal.
Oh, that's not a name I expected there.
You looking at the cast?
Yeah.
Who's in it?
So Adam Driver, Grace VanderWaal, Natalie Emmanuel, who was in Game of Thrones as Missandei. Shia LaBeouf was the name that surprised me.
There might be a familial connection there. He might be like a nephew or some kind of. Yeah,
that would do it.
I don't know. I could be wrong about
the
him.
aforementioned Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, wow.
Chloe Fineman, John Voight, Giancarlo Esposito, Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, wow. He hasn't done anything in a long time.
No, apparently, like you said, Coppola can. Coppola
brings them out.
Brings the whole crew out.
Yep.
Jason Schwartzman.
Oh no, not Shia. Jason Schwartzman is Francis Ford Coppola's nephew.
Okay.
Not Shia LaBeouf. That's what I was thinking of.
Fishburne.
Oh, wow.
There's some names.
Wow. So that's coming out this week, the 27th. Also, animated film that I am stoked about, The Wild Robot, comes out on the 27th. If you haven't seen a trailer for The Wild Robot, you should check it out. It's a really gorgeous looking animated film. Kind of like Iron Giant vibes for sure, but not exactly the same story. It just looks really great. Looks really great.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend that. As TV, we got a new season or new episodes of Bat Wheels on Max. If you have a kid that likes cars, but also superheroes, got Bat Wheels, and we got a second season of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, Book of Carol. I didn't know that they did a first season of this.
I was literally about to say that.
I'm surprised they're still making any Walking Dead stuff, by the way.
Yeah.
It just seems like
seems like there was a shark that's been jumped somewhere.
Oh yeah, I think probably several times.
Multiple sharks.
That's what we got in September. Steve, are you interested in any 4 of these projects in September?
After you were talking about it, The Wild Robot definitely has got my my attention. I know my son will be happy with Bat Wheels, as he did enjoy the first one.
There you go.
So, Walking Dead, no, that is not on my radar.
I know, yeah, me either anymore. I used to love that show. It just got too much.
I have never seen an episode of that show.
Oh, is very good.
Yeah.
I would feel like the first like 4 or 5 seasons were like excellent.
I own season 1 on Blu-ray.
Oh, well, there you go.
Never watched it.
There you go. You could definitely watch season 1. Season 1's very, very watchable.
Nice. I think I got it for a birthday or something, and then everything else happened.
Yeah, I have stuff like that too that I own but have never watched.
Yep.
October's a bit of a bigger month for films. We got Joker, Folie à Deux, Saturday Night, the Saturday Night Live biopic, Terrifier 3, Smile 2, and Venom: The Last Dance. A couple horror movies thrown in there just for good measure. As far as TV goes, we got Gremlins: The Wild Batch, Superman and Lois, the season 4, Tomb Raider and the Legend of Lara Croft. That's a Netflix show coming out. What We Do in the Shadows, season 6, which I believe is the final season of that show, and Star Trek Lower Decks, season 5, which I believe is the final season of that show. So, Steve, out of these film and TV, what are we looking at for October?
Oh, film. The only thing.
I mean, you're going to be first in line for Venom: The Last Dance. We know that.
I still don't know why the hell they make those movies.
First in line.
I mean, I will watch Venom, and if I'm doing nothing, I might go to the theater to watch it, because what the hell? Like Saturday Night is the only thing on that list that screams at me. I know, you're in full spooky season mode at this point, but
yeah,
Saturday Night looks like it's going to be really good.
I hope it is. I can't tell if I feel like the trailer that I saw for it looked good, but it looked a little self-important kind of like.
See, I haven't actually seen the trailer. Like all I'm going off of is everything I've read and concepts. So
yeah, I mean, it's got a really good cast, and it's kind of surprising it took them this long to make a movie about Saturday Night Live at all, instead of just making,
especially those early years.
Or just they usually make movies that are spin-offs of sketches on Saturday Night Live that are of wildly varying quality.
There's been some aces. There's been some real duds.
Yeah, you get your Wayne's Worlds, but you also get your
Master of Disguise.
Ladies, man.
Is that
what,
I
don't think that was a Saturday
that might
Night
not have been a
character,
spin-off.
was it?
I don't know. That's
Wayne's World is
the one that
excellent,
tanked Dana Carvey. So
yeah. I'd say and there's Joker, but like I'm just getting less and less excited about Joker.
Every time I see more, I'm like, no.
The more I read headlines and interviews, I just care less and less about it. So I don't know. I'm gonna go see that, which is crazy that there's like Batman adjacent film coming to a movie theater that I'm not just. I don't already have tickets to see.
But much like in the same month, the Spider-Man adjacent film, there's no Batman in it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You have two movies coming out in October about villains of characters that we actually care about.
Yeah. Both of which predecessors have made over $1 billion, though.
Somehow. Anything in TV jumping at you?
Actually, no. I mean, I would love to finally finish Superman and Lois at some point, but I'm still in like season 2 or whatever. So
Tomb Raider, the only reason that it is jumping at me is I just found out Haley Atwell is playing Lara Croft.
Really?
Apparently. That's what the Googles say.
Okay, that jumps at me then too. I didn't know that Haley Atwell was doing that.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I'll watch that. It's on my list.
Voice, apparently, but
oh, okay. I didn't realize it was an
animated. I didn't realize
thing.
It was animated until I just clicked through.
Okay.
But Haley Atwell's doing the voice of it, which is also
still very cool.
Yeah.
I know that I would love What We Do in the Shadows because I love the movie,
Same.
but I've never watched the show, and feel like I should at some point jump into that. So that's possibly on my list.
And Lower Decks, I've heard, is great too. Like same kind of deal.
I've heard that's very fun.
Probably the next time I pick up Paramount Plus, because I'm on a love-hate relationship with that. Like if I need to binge something, I'll buy it for a month and then cancel it.
Right. Same.
Next time I grab Paramount, I may check out Lower Decks because I've heard nothing but good things about that. So
yeah. In November, we got the horror movie Heretic starring Hugh Grant. Therefore, that looked pretty great. Red 1, Gladiator 2, Wicked, and Moana 2 all coming out in November. On TV, we got the next season of Cobra Kai, or the second half of season 6 of Cobra Kai, I should say. Silo season 2, show that I thought was great on Apple TV Plus, and Dune Prophecy, which is a Warner Brothers spin-off of the Dune movies. No actual date for this yet, but it is targeting November. So, Steve, I know that you are going to be first in line to see Red One. Do you remember what Red One is? Because you and I saw a trailer for it.
Yeah, it's the one with The Rock and one of the Chris's.
Yep, Evans.
Yeah, and it looks god awful.
Really, really bad. Steve and I saw a trailer for Red One when we saw Alien Romulus, and the premise of Red One is that J.K. Simmons plays Santa Claus, which this is a trailer that started really strong for me, and
very
then
much
just kept getting lower and lower and lower. I was like, oh, J.K. Simmons is like a rough, buff-looking Santa Claus. You have my attention. Oh, The Rock is his bodyguard? Oh, that's weird. Oh, someone kidnaps Santa Claus, and now it's a movie about The Rock trying to rescue him from kidnappers, and he has to somehow recruit Chris Evans for some reason from Earth, and it just becomes this, like, super lame hack joke after hack joke, kind of like action comedy, and neither of them seem to be working, and that's from the trailer. So,
and now if the Rock had to take Chris Evans as Captain America to rescue Santa Claus, I feel like that is a one shot that needs to happen right there.
If it's Santa Claus bodyguard has to recruit Steve Rogers as Captain America to help find Santa Claus, I'm watching that all day long.
The Nazis captured Santa Claus, and they have to get him back, and Cap is the only option.
God damn it, Steve! That is a way better.
If you ever get a pitch from Marvel, there is your seasonal one shot right there.
I'll write your Christmas one. I'll write your Christmas episode. Wow, what a great idea that is. Honestly, I'm sure I'll probably go see Moana 2 with my son because he likes the first one, and my I was about to say my Moana. I was about to say, but my wife loves the first Moana movie, so I'm sure we'll be going to see the second one. Wicked, I think, looks bad. Gladiator, I haven't seen Gladiator in a million years, so I'm not excited about Gladiator 2.
Yeah, Wicked, I think went, it did off Broadway like 17 different times, and I feel like it's been everywhere, and now it's just like, what? Why are we doing this?
I know, and I think they're also kind of playing that trick where there's no songs in the trailers that I've seen.
Right.
So I feel like they're trying to not tell people that it's a Wizard of Oz movie, I'll go see that, but they don't know it's a musical, although it's been a musical for a long time. So if you don't know it's a musical.
Like, I don't know. I feel like Wizard of Oz is kind of lost in the cultural zeitgeist at this point.
Right.
Like, it used to be, even when we were growing up, I feel like it was a thing.
Yeah, everyone knew the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, my sister watched it 8 million times growing up because
I watched it 1,000 times growing up,
right?
And I still think it's a great movie. The original is really good.
Yeah, I always enjoyed it, but you know how every kid has like that movie they latch onto and just keep watching. That was one of them for her. Like I watched it a couple times, I liked it, and then it got to the point where I saw it 7,000 times. I'm like, no,
right?
Yeah. Now I can't walk through Chittenango and.
Yeah. It's also like Wizard of Oz is a very specific feel to that original movie.
Yeah.
Which partly comes from the time at which that movie was made. Like the look of it with Technicolor and the way Judy Garland is acting in that movie is a very specific way of acting and way she's talking and stuff that like people now don't talk like that. Movie sets don't look like that anymore, and so any adaptation of Wizard of Oz that is full of like CGI and green screens and all this modern stuff like doesn't have the same feel, which I think makes it feel they're trying to recapture the feel of the original movie by not doing anything that the original movie did. I think like you would have to build giant sets on giant sound stages and film it like that and use Technicolor, to try to get closer to that. But I don't know. I'm thinking of what was that Sam Raimi movie? I love Sam Raimi, but man, this movie's bad. Great and Powerful Oz.
Oh yeah,
He did that movie's
I
real
forgot about
bad.
that one.
Yeah, it's real bad, and it's that same kind of thing. Like Sam Raimi, if he's a pretty good kitschy director. So like him or like Tim Burton or somebody that is good at like cheesiness or like just like a kitschy kind of feel. Give them the money to build giant sets on giant sound stages and remake Wizard of Oz or make a Wizard of Oz thing. Like maybe one of them would have a shot at it, but when it's all CGI and really terrible writing, I don't know. So I don't have a lot of hope for Wicked. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
that was me talking a lot about the Wizard of Oz. Sorry, big tangent there.
I mean, at the same time, like what? It really is just. I wonder. It's been a long time since I've seen it too.
Yeah.
So like, does it hold up? Does it like? Is that why it's escaped from the general populace? Is that it's like just not as good or doesn't seem as good?
Well, I mean, I think it does, but that is an interesting question because that's a movie that's in my heart because I watched it a million times when I was a kid and I love it. So like, it's like I can't see why Return of the Jedi is a bad movie. I can't. So many people think it's a bad movie. I can't see it as a bad movie because it's just in my heart that way. Same with Wizard of Oz. So like I can't tell if that movie holds up or not because when I see it, I'm gonna think, oh, I'm watching one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah.
And I know that it is still on lists of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
So like I know that there are film critics that still think it holds up, but I would be interested to see somebody like you who hadn't seen it in a long time or find a grown adult who has never seen it and doesn't know, isn't really familiar with it, have them watch it and see what they think. I would
more to come on that similar situation in the future.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Someday.
Hopefully. Got to work out some scheduling, it looks like.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I will go back and watch that just to see.
We should do a commentary for it.
We could. And if you want to hear that or whatnot, feel free to sign up to our Patreon at patreon.com/the-Multiverse Report, and you'll get stuff like that.
Yes. Yes, please do. Please do. So that's November. I'm excited. TV, I'm excited about Silo Season 2 because I love Silo Season 1 based on a book called Wool that my wife read. Dune Prophecy, I'll watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the founding of the Bene Gesserit, so...
Yeah, so it's a prequel. Okay.
Yeah, like 10,000 years in the past.
Yeah, big time prequel.
Yeah.
Cool. And round things out with December. Again, Thief, I know you're going to be first in line for
100%.
Kraven the Hunter. But you might actually be first in line for Lord of the Rings, War of Kirim, coming out the 13th of December. And we also have Mufasa, The Lion King, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and Nosferatu.
Hey, do you remember when we heard that Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim was announced, and we were like, holy shit, that's going to be so long? And now here we are.
Yeah, was it at the beginning of this podcast? It was like
it might have
early
been
on.
Relatively early. We were like, oh, this sounds awesome. Oh, shit, it's going to be in like 24, 25? Oh, okay.
Yep. Now here it is.
Yep,
coming
here we
out
are.
finally.
So.
Yep. I am pumped about that. I will probably end up seeing most of those movies that I just read, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I will end up seeing Kraven the Hunter, but I probably won't go see it at the theater.
Mufasa, rest in peace, Mr. James Earl Jones.
Yep.
I don't know if he had anything to do with this one, but...
Neither do I. And I don't think I'm going to see that movie because the trailer, I thought it looked terrible. And I didn't see the other Lion King remake.
I feel like
this looks real dumb.
I may end up there with my son, but I am.
Yeah.
It's not like the Lion King holds a special spot in my heart, but
the original.
But
yeah, me too. Sure.
I don't know. Again, did it need to be told? Probably not.
I know. Yeah, but the first one made $1 billion, so you're going to get a sequel, and that's like same thing with the I can't remember whatever other thing I was complaining about. With the hack humor. I honestly don't remember what I was talking about. But Red One. That was
Yep.
I felt like watching the trailer for the Mufasa, I was like, this dialogue is so bad. It's so bad. And like in the trailer you're supposed to pick the good parts of dialogue. this is what made the trailer. Yikes. My son is pumped to see Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and I like those first two movies too, so I'm kind of excited to see Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
I have never seen either of the first two. Neither has
We've
Sebastian,
talked about it, man. You should watch them. They are way better than they need to be. They do not need to be as good as they are. Jim Carrey is very funny in both of them. He's doing like classic 90s Jim Carrey stuff, I feel like. And he's just goofy and he's having fun and it's great.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't remember that, or I didn't remember that Lord of the Rings was going to be War of the Rohirrim was going to be theatrical. I thought that was going to be a...
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a Max or whatever.
Well, maybe they see the... they're seeing...
dollar signs?
I was trying not to say dollar signs, but I ended up just not talking.
Yeah.
I think they're just seeing
I can
like
tell
probably...
you were trying to come up with some good way to...
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're seeing dollar signs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're right. I think they are seeing dollar signs, but I was trying to say more like they're seeing that there is an appeal out there,
right? A renewed interest,
renewed interest that people that want to see Lord of the Rings on a big screen. Yes.
And I'm kind of happy with that because otherwise it would have competed with these next two things on the small screen.
That's true. Also, I just do want to say I'm also very excited about Nosferatu.
Oh yeah.
The remake by this guy Robert Eggers, who makes really awesome and intense, crazy horror movies.
Hopefully it can be better than the last Dracula adaptation we talked about on this podcast. Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever see it?
No.
Yeah.
I just, the how panned it got was like,
yeah,
because I think I was as hyped as I was for it. I saw how panned it was, and I'm like, I cannot see this.
Yeah. It's the first two acts are pretty good.
Yep.
It's kind of like a slashery kind of thing. Yeah. And the third just kind of turns into an action movie, and then it was like, okay, this is kind of lame now. But it's not bad. I wish they used more practical stuff instead of like there was no reason that he had to be that Dracula had to be like a CG monster the entire time. Like it would have been more impactful if it wasn't clearly a cartoon. Anyway,
speaking of cartoons.
December TV, my big anticipation, Creature Commandos, and undated but Star Wars Skeleton Crew also supposed to arrive in December. Big December for nerds. So, I mean, Steve, I assume that but we're both obviously going to watch Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Right. Both of those. Yeah. We have to.
Yep.
Yeah, we have to see the first entrance in the James Gunn's DCU, but also Skeleton Crew, Star Wars with kids. Hell yeah.
Star Wars emblem, I am all in for.
Yeah, absolutely. So out of all of these, you have like a most anticipated?
Probably War of the Rohirrim.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there's a lot here that seems like it could be good, but there's not a lot here that I'm like psyched out of my mind about necessarily.
Right.
And I think
Dune Prophecy I'm interested in. War of the Rohirrim is like above everything else on here except maybe Skeleton Crew and Creature Commandos are like that next tier down.
Yeah. I mean, I would say War of the Rohirrim or Nosferatu, those two for me are probably my most anticipated of the two of the movies. And then Creature Commandos and Skeleton Crew are probably TV. So that's all December. Like I don't really.
So we got a rough ball here, buddy.
Yeah, well.
You know what though? Again, with the zero expectations, if any of those in September, October, November turn good, then hey, we're doing great.
Then great. Yep.
Also, Transformers 1 is in theaters now. I've not heard anything about that or seen anything about that, but
neither have I.
I'm surprised my son hasn't said, "Hey, can we go see that?"
Yeah, I think I read it being described as fun, which I feel like sometimes fun is a polite word for not great.
I mean, IMDb 7.9, Rotten Tomatoes 89, Metacritic 62, so whatever.
Could be worse.
For a cartoon Transformers movie, that's probably actually as good as it's going to get.
Yeah, it's not going to be, Into the Spider-Verse or it's not even going to be Mutant Mayhem, but could be good. Could be good. What else could be good? Oh, wait, Steve, do you have a comic to review this week?
I do, but I didn't read it. So I stopped down yesterday, just in between all the chaos, like literally on my way to get the pizza to bring to 315, and I stopped in. And I was like, Jesse, you got anything? I need to cram it in before and then I just didn't have any time. So we'll double it up next week.
Can't wait to hear next week then. I do not have a comic to review, which is why I was about to launch into the list of comic books that you may find in your local comic book store this week. And those books include Absolute Power Origins #3, Action Comics #1069, Amazing Spider-Man #58, Avengers Annual #1, Batman Brave and the Bold #17, Batman The Last Halloween #1, Black, White, and Bloodshot #1, Conan the Barbarian #15, Creepshow Volume 3 #1, Daredevil Woman Without Fear #3, Deadpool Team Up #2, Detective Comics #1089, Dick Tracy #5, Feral #6, The Flash #13, Green Arrow #16, Harley Quinn #43, Lilith #1, Man, Goat, and Bunny Man, Beware the Pig Man #3.
Still going.
Yeah, it's back. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers team up with Usagi Yojimbo #1, NYX #3, Phases of the Moon Knight #2, Phoenix #3, Power Girl 13, Predator versus Black Panther #2, Red Sonja 14, Saga #69, Star Trek 24, Star Wars Ahsoka #3, Thundercats #8, Titans 15, Ultimate Spider-Man 9, Uncanny X-Men #3, Wolverine Revenge #2, X-Force 3, and Zatanna bringing down the house #4.
And is that the fourth in a 4-part? Or is that going to be a 6?
It's the fourth in a 5-part.
Of course. Why would it be? Yeah,
5-issue
whatever.
arc. I don't know.
Nothing
whatever.
Like that. That standard comic 5-issue mini.
Yep.
Either way, it's going to be in my pull. So,
for sure. Yep.
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't read that and can't find it, like wait for the trade on that. That's been great.
Yeah, I should do I should do like an Instagram reel or something talking about our love for Zatanna bringing down the house. It's just so good. It's so good.
It is.
The art is incredible. Yeah. So I'm planning on grabbing that. And
are you grabbing an X book?
I missed I missed Uncanny #2. So if they still have 2, then I'll grab 2 and 3. But if not, then I might have missed it already.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. And I'm definitely gonna grab. Oh, man, I feel like there's a lot of good books this week.
I
feel like I'm definitely gonna grab The Last Halloween, Batman, because it's
so is that a reissue?
It's not a reissue. It is a new story. It's either a sequel or a prequel to The Long Halloween, but it's a miniseries. It's not even just a one shot. I think it's like a 4 or 5 issue.
Okay, I may grab that
series.
Probably doing like through spooky season.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it might even be weekly.
Yeah,
a weekly release this month. The sad part is that I believe it is Jeff Loeb still.
Okay.
The guy that wrote the original story and has come back a couple times for like spin-offs. The sad part is that we have lost Tim Sale past year, I believe. So it will not be his art on Batman The Last Halloween. So that's a bummer. I believe they're using his art for the cover, at least for the cover that I saw.
It is officially The Long Halloween : The Last Halloween.
Yes. So yeah, I'm definitely grabbing that and Zatanna. And like I said, hopefully if I can get my hands on Uncanny #2, then I'll get my hands on Uncanny #3, my friend. What else are you grabbing from this list? Phoenix, right? You still getting Phoenix?
Yeah. Wow, Jesus, this is a freaking X week.
Yeah,
NYX.
For real.
NYX didn't grab me too much. I don't know if I'll stay there. Phoenix and Uncanny, and Ultimate Spider-Man.
Nice.
So,
Ultimate Spider-Man still good?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Hickman is just cooking, man. He's just doing his thing, and it's great. Like
that's all he needs to do.
When Hickman is on, he is on.
Right.
Like when he loses the plot, okay, whatever. He's just his brain is doing whatever it does, and it's just on the wrong track. But when he's on his A game, like there's few modern creators that'll touch whatever he's got going.
Yeah, for sure. Well, cool, man. I think that's it. There's no one shots.
Yeah.
Slow news week. We talked about our shows already. I'm still watching Rings of Power. Are you watching Rings of Power? You're not caught up yet?
I am half an episode from being caught up.
Okay,
So
nice.
That still held me.
Yeah, it's holding me too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, don't think I've watched the one that came out this week.
Oh no, I might be an episode.
So maybe I'm back. I don't remember, but yeah, I am digging the hell out of it. Great.
Yeah, and some of the power dynamics they got brought back this week this season have been great.
Mm-hmm.
The portrayal of Anatar has been awesome.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, I think in general it's just been solid.
Yeah, they're really showing like the distrust of people like Elrond or Durin that are like, you should never wear this ring. This is a bad idea. Like, I really like seeing that, you know, because this show basically exists in the first 30 seconds of Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring. Like, a long time ago, these rings were made. We gave some to these guys, some to these guys, some to these guys, but one ring, and then well, you just said the entire plot of Rings of Power, and they're just breaking that down to minuscule detail in a way that is really fulfilling, I think.
No, it's the inclusion of Tom Bombadil was actually better than I some people love Tom Bombadil in the stories in like Fellowship. It never grabbed me whatsoever.
Same.
And this actually has been much better than
agreed
what I ever had in my brain reading it. So
yes, agreed, for sure.
Pleasantly surprised there.
Yeah, it's really good. I like it a lot, and it's funny because I remember they had to come out and say, because it's not owned by Warner Brothers or whatever when they did the Peter Jackson films. It's like, no, these are not set in the same world, but they're honestly just going above and beyond to make everything look exactly the same as it appears in those movies, right down to like the moon door thing that have you seen that? Have you gotten to that episode yet? Like, that's exactly the same design as the movies. Like they want us to think that it is a direct prequel to those films, even though they're quote unquote not, but they all know. We all know.
Oh yeah.
We all know what they're doing.
Yep.
And they want us to know. But anyway, yeah, it's great. It's great. And I think that's all I got. I think we're done. Are we done?
We are. And if we're done, then we should do our normal end of the pod where I tell you to like and subscribe and watch us when you can. And if you'd like to leave a review on your podcatcher of choice, preferably Apple Podcasts, we still have some baking to do, but
I gotta make those cookies. Damn it! I keep forgetting about it.
Yep, every time. Leave us a review. 5 stars appreciated, and we'll talk to you whenever we talk to you. Probably next Sunday at 9:30 ish.
Yeah, that's right. And until then, as the two suns set over the burnt corpses of Owen and Brew Lars, we say thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the multiverse.